Hello and welcome to my channel. Welcome, my name is Lindsay, and today we will be tackling my long-standing beef that I have with the builds of Glimmerbrook. First and foremost, we're going to be covering the Charm household, the Charm home. To me, this home is one of the worst offenders of being an ugly EA build. The Sims team has always, given us some bangers when it comes to ugly houses, houses that don't really make any sense. And they kind of fix that by having actual builders and creators make homes for them. But I think this was like one of the last, the Realms of Magic was one of the last worlds where they really did all the builds by themselves, I believe, or it's one of the last ones. It's just, most of them are very lazy is how I would best describe the builds. Just looking on the outside, the windows are kind of mixed matched. That window is so low to the ground and the walls are just very high for how small the windows are. And also, I don't really understand this fence and why it exists the way that it does. It only encloses this. Like, maybe it would be like, this is where you park, I guess. Obviously, for the larger houses, very empty. Very, very empty because, they say they have to have restrictions so everybody can play. It's like, I don't understand why they didn't add a cauldron here for the gameplay of it, because that's one of the large gameplay options that came with Realm of Magic. It's just kind of a seating area up here with this large bathroom. The bedrooms are just kind of bland and ugly, which I'm not much better at doing bedrooms, as you will see. But this is the fiancés. This is Daryl Charm and his fiancée. I forget her name. And then this is Gemma, her bedroom with all the mismatching furniture. And then the worst room of the house. This is a crime, I think. If you walked into somebody's house and you saw this room, I think you would be able to sue for emotional distress. It's just a bed facing the door to the balcony. That's it. I'm not kidding. It's literally just a bed, not even up against the wall. Just out to the balcony. It's so bad. I think this is probably the most despicable thing that I've ever seen in a Sims build. Like, it comes with the game like this. And then the bottom floor honestly isn't that bad. There's just kind of this hallway around the living room that I think they just kind of put in order to fill up the space. And then little seating area, like this little library option. And then another one of my nemesis of this household, this window right here. There we go. Look how much nicer that is. Look how much better that looks. Ugh. Alright, editing me back for the rest of this video. I guess I kind of wanted to talk about this house, a little bit about, my inspirations for it. I really wanted to work on Glimmerbrook. This is for my save file. It is pretty much going to be a personal save file just because while I am doing a lot of, character makeovers, like of the townies and stuff, I also use a lot of CC, and I don't really know how I would put the whole save file out without putting all that CC out. But I do want to eventually put the save file out where it will just be the builds, and then have, I don't know, for the family, the households, maybe like individually put them up, or make them, or like remake them, but like no CC, which would suck because I also made a lot of custom households, but you know, that's just the way it's gonna be if people are interested in it at all. It's, you know, I'm willing to do it at one point. But all of my houses are up on my EA gallery. If you want to see them, I'll put my username up so that you can go download them. I've been doing a lot of them, even ones that I haven't shown on my YouTube and Twitch, which I know I haven't been active on. I just didn't want to be. With peace and love, I've been tired. I've been sleepy, and I just didn't want to do anything on anything. It was just taking a lot out of me. Not this, but like just life in general. I was having a hard time juggling my emotional well-being and my work, and also like my hobbies. So, you know, I kind of just disappeared. And for that, oops. Oops. It kind of dropping doing YouTube felt a little bit like, like, you know, when you accidentally kick your favorite stuffed animal when you're a kid off your bed, and then you wake up and you see it on the floor and you feel bad. It's kind of like that. Like, you know, like obviously you shouldn't feel bad because it doesn't feel anything, but it's like, oh, oops, I abandoned you, didn't mean to. It's kind of like that, you know? It's just so easy to put something down and then kind of ignore it and forget to come back to it. But yeah, this house, I'm going to talk about this house again, sorry. I know I'm jumping all over the place. I just had a cold brew, but this house, I really wanted to do Glimmerbrook. It is, I think, the worst grouping of EA builds, mainly because of the confinements that the Sims team, has to work under, as far as like how many items they can fit in a build or how big it can be. A lot of the times, they make really big builds, and then they don't fill them out very well. So obviously I wanted to do a more cluttered look because I think that tends to lend. I wanted to do something kind of like the whimsy goth, where it's very like maximalist. It's also very colorful, but there's a little bit of, you know, Victorian spookiness thrown in. Obviously this house isn't very spooky. I also really wanted to use a lot of the colors that this pack gives, because it does have a lot of very colorful items, and I feel like I don't use a variety of colors enough in my builds. I tend to stick to a color palette when I do a build, but because there's several different Sims in this household, I wanted to branch out a little bit and give them their own unique spaces, which I feel like I did the best for Daryl and his fiance. They get the red bedroom that you'll see kind of towards the end when I'm decorating more, and I feel like I didn't do a very good job on Minerva or Gemma's bedroom. I don't know. I don't know where it went wrong. It just didn't really look that great, and I'm not very happy with their bedrooms, but I don't really know what else to do with them. I feel like I kind of burnt myself out doing Daryl's room, and I just couldn't decorate anymore. I was all decored out. So yeah, it is kind of like, you get what you get. Sorry. But yeah, I want to do more colorful. I wanted to do, because a lot of my houses and a lot of the worlds have a kind of Victorian build theme to them, and that's just because that's what I'm most comfortable doing. It's also just kind of what I enjoy looking at the most. So, like you'll see, this house is kind of Victorian with also like the towers. It's very rounded, which is more on the Art Nouveau side, just because a lot of the house decoration, like the build buy stuff, is very Art Deco. It has more of that floral inspiration. It's very natural, lots of curves, and so I wanted to do that a lot. That's why like the front tower is that kind of curved shape, because I wanted to kind of bring those kind of details into the build more, like itself, and not just the decorations. It is a pretty weird thing to try to build with the round shapes in The Sims 4, just because the curved walls and stuff are not that great. But I did try my best, and I hope you guys like it. I wanted to make it kind of feel like a mishmash of different houses as well. I wanted to make it look like it's been there for a long time, and maybe like the house has been added onto by each generation. And I don't know how well that came across. I hope it does a little bit, like when you kind of see more of the siding come together. I also wanted to do that greenhouse in the back. I found this picture off of Pinterest of a Victorian house with a greenhouse attached to it, and so that's what I took major inspiration from for this house, so I'll put that up on the screen. I thought it was just so cool. Nobody in this family has any gardening skill though, so they will not be using it. Doesn't really matter. But that's kind of like the bathrooms for this house as well. There might be a couple of the bathrooms that are not usable. I hope they are. I did not test them, but I also don't really care because I don't really expect people to be playing in this house, or at least I don't expect to be playing in this house. So you could obviously use this for any family. Like if you had any kind of magical themed sim, you could use this for them. But specifically for the Charm household, for my save, I was like, if they don't use the bathrooms on the top floor, doesn't really matter, because if my Sims ever go to visit them, they're not really gonna be using the upstairs bathrooms. It's just gonna be there to look cool. So yeah, that's all that mattered to me, was that they looked cool, and I think they turned out pretty awesome. So I'm pretty proud of myself. And there you can really see like the Whimsigoth inspiration for the house. I got really into decorating the bathrooms because there's so many cool bathrooms on Pinterest that I wanted to kind of do, and a lot of like Victorian bathrooms and stuff, so I wanted to do stuff kind of like that. There's something more interesting. I like doing more interesting bathrooms, and I feel like that's kind of where I shine when it comes to decorating, as sad as that is. I love doing bathrooms. I think they can be so cool and interesting, and you can add lots of weird decor to it without it being too over the top or gaudy, you know? Like obviously the bathrooms are gaudy, but it doesn't really matter because it's not like the whole living room, you know? Like you're only gonna have to see it out of the corner of your eye as your sim goes to the bathroom. But yeah, that's it really about this house. Okay, I also wanted to talk a little bit about the Sims community itself. Mainly because it's been on my mind since the pre-Lovestruck pack. Like the patches before the new expansion pack came out. There was a lot of drama in the community, and so I kind of wanted to talk about and it's because I am not happy because some of you do not know how to behave. And as a pretty much from the get, I was a CC user for both The Sims 3 and The Sims 4. So I've been, I know a little bit about modding the game and how it works, and also how you should behave to content creators. Right, that's very important, is that we check our behavior and the behavior of those around us who are not behaving well. So this is in reference to the fact that a mod creator was recently doxxed. If you don't know, Turbo Driver, who is the creator of Wicked and Wonderful Whims, was doxxed. And I can't prove for sure that they were doxxed. And I also am glad that I can't prove for sure that they were doxxed. But from what I can see of the video, or not the video, of the tweets around the time that the dox apparently happened, it was pretty much right after the new, like the first patch for the update came out. And apparently somebody doxed Turbo Driver on their Patreon, which led them to deleting their Discord. And it's just very frustrating as somebody who is a long-time modder. I don't mod, I don't know how to code, I don't know any of that stuff, but like as somebody who mods their game and has been modding their game for a very long time, it is very frustrating to see people not use common sense when it comes to modding their game. First of all, the new patch did not break the game. There was no reason for Turbo Driver to be doxxed. They, like, the Wicked Whims did not break the game, and if it did, they should still not have been doxxed, obviously, but it is not their fault if you download a mod or you use a piece of CC that's broken or a mod that breaks the game. It is not that content creator's fault that your game is broken. You have to have common sense when modding your game. Obviously, if like a piece of content or a mod is a virus, obviously then you can be mad. But if it's just like I feel like every time the Sims team releases a game, like a mod breaking patch, this happens literally every single time. This is why I don't use or don't go on like Sims 4 TikTok. It's because it's very frustrating and it pisses me off every time I feel like this happens, where there's a new patch and everybody's complaining that their mods are now broken. I have seen people say that the Sims team broke their mods, which not how it works. It is the Sims team's game. They did not break your mod. The mod is no longer cohesive with the game, and you can update that. It is not the Sims team's fault. Alright, they can change the game however they want, and it does not matter. And it will never matter. It is their game, they can change it, and if it breaks, then that is on you to fix. If you don't, if you don't back up your save files, if you don't, update your mods when they need to be updated, that is not on the Sims team. Like, you have to be on that. That's your problem. It is not up to the mod creator to put out a fix the moment that a new patch drops, because a lot of them, they're not working for the Sims team. They are just random people who get the patch when you do, and so they have to, you know, do their actual real life jobs and then also you know, take care of their families and their pets, and then they have to come and cater to your every want and whim. No, that's not how it works. Like, just having basic empathy for like other people and, you know, understanding. I genuinely don't get how people thought that doxing Turbo Driver would get them their mod faster. Also, it's just so frustrating. It is very, very upsetting. And I I have a theory, and obviously I don't have, you know, the stats to back this up, but I think that it's because a lot of people who play The Sims don't play a lot of other games. And there's also a lot of people who did not play the previous Sims games who are now playing The Sims 4. I do think that that also makes a difference because, you know, they don't have that experience with modding or how, you know, gaming communities work when it comes to mods. You know, they only play like The Sims and then maybe like a few other games. I know a lot of people, you know, like it's normally like more like the cozy games like Stardew and stuff. So it's not super surprising that people don't know how to behave. It is a little bit frustrating though, you know? And that's, you know, that's where I think a lot of this comes from, is people just not understanding, you know? And I want, like, in my head, I want to be patient, you know? It is just so hard to be patient when, like, a lot of these people's problems would be fixed just by basic, you know, common sense. Because I also know a lot of people will try like modding and then it like breaks their game and then they complain. They're like, oh well, this is the game's fault, or like this is because modding is stupid. And it's like, no, you just don't know how to do it, and that's okay. And it's okay to be frustrated with, you know, something that either you don't know, you don't understand. But it's like when you take that anger out on other people, it makes it more difficult to help, you know? It makes people not want to help. But yeah, so that's my thoughts on the current Sims drama, I guess. Ugh. It's been something that's on my mind, and I just want to kind of just verbal diarrhea it onto the internet, because that's kind of just what this channel is. It is my personal diary. It is my personal diary, and if people stumble upon it, so be it. The void. I'm just throwing things out into the void. Yeah. I don't really know what else to talk about. I would talk about the new Love Struck pack, but obviously if you're watching a build of the Charm household, I don't want to date this video too much, but I haven't played it at all. I've heard mixed things. I do eventually want to get it because it does look like fun. I also like that it changes the dates, because I literally hate the date system in The Sims 4. I pretty much avoid all of like the dates or the like the parties and stuff. I basically avoid all of that in The Sims 4 just because I don't enjoy them. I don't like how they work. They never Like you think that they're gonna go well, or you think that they're going well, and then it's just like, oh, actually, this sim had a terrible time on the date, and it's like, why? For what reason? Like, you guys were just making out a second ago, and now you're telling my sim to never call him again? Like, what's going on? I don't get it. So I like that they fixed it so that, not fixed it, but like they changed it so that you could actually like plan out dates, and like there's different types of dates. So I think that makes it more interesting. And while I don't really play a lot of The Sims for like gameplay wise, like I have a generations household that I am very excited for the third season, not the third season, the third generation, that I kind of want to try it out on. But you know, I'm not super into gameplay. I'm mainly a builder and well, I'm not very good at it. I'm more of a sim maker, I guess. Like, I love playing dress up. That's mainly why I play. Like, I'll play The Sims 3 if I want to play gameplay, alright? The gameplay in The Sims 3 and The Sims 2, I think, is superior, and I am here just for the building, basically. I've heard mixed things about it, but I am definitely going to wait for it to go on sale. I feel like I fall for it every single time that the Sims team puts out a new pack. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna wait for a sale, and then I get super hyped for it, and then I buy it, which is what happened when I bought Horse Ranch. I'm not gonna lie, I told myself, I was like, oh, the horses look so bad, I'm gonna wait for it to go on sale. And then, of course, I did not wait for it to go on sale. I pretty much bought it like the week after it came out. Not even the week. I think I bought it during the week that it came out. Ugh. Which I might as well pre-order. It's so stupid. But for this one, because I'm not that much of a gameplay person, I am holding back. I'm holding back. I will not buy it. I will not. I'm putting that out into the world as a vibe that I will not buy Love Struck until it goes on sale. Hopefully there's a sale soon. I might budge just a little bit. I can be talked into it. I might be talked into it. But yeah, I haven't heard any, like, you know, extremely negative things about it, and I think that that's kind of what's convincing me to buy it, even though obviously I don't need it. Also, like, the build items look interesting. They're not super my style. Like I said at the beginning, I am build in a much more style, like old timey style, but I also love like trashy early 2000s stuff. And that the vibrating heartbed has made a comeback, and I really want it. Like, oh my god, I really want hotels in The Sims 4. Like, I want so bad. I want them so bad that it has taken me going back to The Sims 3 and building a hotel in The Sims 3 to get over this very desperate need that I have for hotels. I really, because they've kind of like held me over by allowing it so that you can actually build apartments now and not just like fake apartments, which I used to do a lot. So now that we can like actually build like multi-family buildings, that made me very happy, and I've been building for that. I built an apartment building for this, not this world, but like for this save file that I was very happy with, and I've just been having like fun playing with that. I haven't really played as a landlord. I've just been kind of decorating, um, and like building and stuff. But like now, I I need I need actual hotels. Like desperately need it. And I have a feeling that it's going to be a while before we get them, just because when we got the for rent pack, they were kind of talking about it. Like, they're like, oh, you can have it so that your sim has a 1 day stay, you know? And I was like, so that it kind of like, you know, simulates a hotel business. And I was like, we're never getting hotels. We're never getting them. Just because they said that. I was like, oh, such a bummer. But yeah, so we'll see. I hope we get them. Obviously, I want them really bad. Really, really, really bad. I want hotels. Mainly because I want to build motels. There's a lot of like a lot of worlds that I feel like we've gotten recently that I wish just had more lots on them. Because I feel like a thing that The Sims 3 did that the Sims 4 doesn't really do well is like multi-pack integration. Like where different parts of different packs kind of cohesively work together. Like you'll have worlds that don't really have a lot of space for you to do multiple lots. Like I would love if more worlds had extra lots that you could do like kind of whatever you wanted on, like more just empty lots. Not like empty lots, but like spaces. Like for Love Struck, the world is very big, and I feel like they've been doing this where they make it very big, or like the illusion of very big, but there's not a lot to do other than like walking around in those spaces. Like I want to be able to have more lots like near each other or next to like a large road that you could build, you know, a shop, you know, like from Get to Work. So you can build stores. Like, so if you have a sim that has like a flower store, you can actually build a flower store in any world. Like in Soledad Emirata, like if you want to build a flower store, like you could actually have space to do that while also having the base like things that come with the pack, like I believe it's you get I think a nightclub, and then also a nightclub or a bar, and then the gym. And those are parts of the pack that like are actually used in gameplay for the pack. That's why I just wish that there was more space. Like if I want to have a restaurant in that world, I wish that there was actual space to build that restaurant. So me personally, I think that when I get my hands on it, I think what I'm gonna do is turn the vacation rental that's in that world, I think I'm gonna turn probably into a restaurant, just because I think it makes sense for the pack to, you know, have a place to eat out at in that world. Like I would love to have like a Mexican restaurant there. I think that'd be super but yeah, again, it's just kind of a thing. Because growing together the pack with the San Francisco inspired world, they also did this where it's very large, the world, but there's nothing to do with it. Like there's the play pad for the kids in like the one part of the world, and then there's the cinema in the other one, the movie theater. And then outside of that, there's not much. Cause like even like they also have in that world, they have all those like seating areas around. I think those, if I remember correctly, are not usable. So, you know, I just, yeah, it's just one of those things that happens when it's mostly the set dressing, you know. From what I've seen in Soledad and Murata is that there's a lot of seating, but that seating is usable, which I think is nice, and that like other Sims around the world will actually be seated in them. From what I've seen in reviews, is that Sims actually like use those park benches and not just like your Sims, but like county NPC Sims will do that, which nice, because I think that's a thing that The Sims 4 in general kind of is not very good at, is that they'll just kind of have, unless the sim is on your lot, the set dressing pieces that are usable, nobody actually uses them. Like, I'm thinking of the playgrounds and stuff that are in the other worlds that aren't on a lot, but they're just kind of like in the world. Like, I think not Magnolia Promenade, but the empty, like the fully empty world, that one in one of the neighborhoods, there's a playground and the children don't come and play on it. They're just kind of like the normal adults, they'll just kind of walk through. So unless you stop them and ask them to play with you, they don't do it all by themselves. So I think that's pretty cool that they changed that, made it so that Sims will actually use that kind of stuff. So yeah, I am, I think, more excited about, even though I want it. See, this is so hard because while I did want horses, just because I am a horse, I really wanted horses. I really wanted to make horses. I really wanted to play with horses. It's very different from like how horses were in like the past. So it just, you know, makes things a little different just because of how you would be able to use the Sims horses, because it's not open world, so you can't obviously ride them from lot to lot. And also in The Sims 3, you could actually like directly control all of your animals. And in The Sims 4, it's different, where it's back to like The Sims 2, where you could not control your pets. So I was just interested to see how they would do it. It's kind of like Cars, you know? Cars, I don't see how that would be genuinely useful in The Sims 4. But I do have a way that I would like to see them being used. Would be like in The Sims 2, where the car would drive up and the school bus would drive up to the house, and then your sim could get into it and then they'd be driven off to wherever they're going. Like whether that be for them going on vacation and like a taxi comes up and picks them up and then they drive off, or like a school bus comes up and then your Sims get on it and then they go to school. I think that would just be a really like good way to have that kind of stuff in The Sims 4, or like even having it where like they have the broken down car and they're able to fix it up, and that, you know, raises their handiness skills. And then they could have like, you know, kind of like that, where it's they have their own cars, but they don't, it obviously doesn't change anything other than maybe having value, like maybe them restoring this old broken down car and then they're able to sell it. But there's not really a good way that would really change anything. Like in The Sims 3, the car would actually be useful because it had different stats and you could get to a place faster or without having use a taxi. So it's just very hard to say how they would put that into the game. So I personally would like to see hotels before I see cars, unless they do it like I was saying, and they just have like the cars coming up to your lot as like a free patch. I would love that. I would lose it if they did that, but obviously they're not gonna do that. I don't even think that I think there's been talk of more expansion pack this year. I don't know what it would be. I don't know if it'd be expansion or game pack. I know a lot of people are suggesting that maybe we're getting berries sometime soon, but I don't know if that would be the next thing that we get. And people are mainly saying that because we've been getting a lot of like fairy themed stuff, but I think that's just kind of a coincidence. Like, I know we've gotten two fairy post stuff, and they've done that before in the past with like horses, where they had it so that they were like, oh, like the next pack is being kind of hinted at, because there was a lot of like horse pictures and horse stuff for kids in Growing Together, and that kind of hinted at horses, and I think there was like even like unicorn stuff. But I'm trying to think of possibly be the cohesive theme. And I don't really like, there might be, but it's just, I think it's too like adult themed. Like, there's nothing hinting at anything for the next, unless they put out like a little teaser or whatever. I don't know, I'm curious. I am excited for the next one. I do think that, just because I haven't heard many people complain about Lotus Truck, I'm thinking like maybe the Sims team has got their stuff together and they're actually, putting out good stuff now. Because for a while they were in their flop era. I will not. Sims team was era, and I can say that as a Sims team defender, I think I get to, bully them a little bit as well. They were in their flop era for a little bit, and then I feel like when Werewolves came out, I got excited about Sims packs again. I think that was handled well in comparison to other stuff in game packs. So yeah, that's kind of all I wanted to talk about. I don't really have much else to say, so I might just leave you with the chill Stardew Valley, Stardew Valley tune. If you're new to my channel and you've enjoyed my ranting and ravings, this has been me trying to fill 40 minutes. And I did not do a very good job, but I'm getting back in the saddle. It's been a little while since I've done this, so if you've enjoyed, you want to stick around, feel free, subscribe, comment, do all that stuff. I don't know, do whatever you want, honestly. I am not picky. Again, this is just me into the void. And have a good night, good day, whatever it is for you.